All right, guys, story time here. After many years, I'm talking about like years of trying to kind of like solve what I got going on in the left shoulder. Like, why is it that my body is like so like wound up in a certain position? And I notice a lot before I'm going to bed, and I'm gonna show you what I'm looking at and what I'm talking about. You know, you go to bed and you kind of lay there, and I kind of just like get deep like in my body and try to feel like how my body is positioned naturally and why it favors certain things. So if I lay sideways like this, right? You're doing this and just kind of like lay down. You notice how the back of the wrist right here, let me see if I can probably a little bit more over here. The back of this wrist kind of stays floating and it doesn't fall back this way. It stays kind of like that. And I'm always like thinking like, dang, how do I get this to go? Because I could do it and I'm engaging like the backside of my like lats over here. And then I start looking at my bicep, the way it like lengthens. I'm like, okay, so that's what's going on. What if I open up this way? That's already even more like pulling it that way. So I'm looking at the line between the bicep and the chest, the way it connects with the lateral line, this oblique over here. And if I kind of lay on my back, kind of ends up there, right? So this is my left arm there. If I just kind of flip it over and we do the right side, and let's say I'm kind of like laying down, right? See, that's just kind of like laying flat already there. I don't know if you could see it, probably like over here, kind of like laying flat. I don't have to like force my hand to be here like that. Even if I come up this way, the arm still stays there. This shoulder is like really strong. I don't have the old injury from the bursitis there from what I had. I had 2 injuries in the past. But I'm just like always thinking about like, dang, how could I address it when I'm in the gym, things like that. And then last night, I'm just like looking at my arms doing this. And obviously like I already know that I have an easier time pronating this arm, meaning that I put my palm flat more than I do on this side. You could see it kind of like, I don't know if I square up here, kind of like flatter there. And then on this one, like there's like a lift off here. And if you see this bone, it's a little higher. Then this one kind of actually rotates. I'm like, wow, looking like this. And I was like, huh. And then last night I started doing this. I was like, oh, I got it. I'm gonna do a reverse grip barbell curl. I remember I used to favor doing like the curl, the cheat bar, the sissy bar, whatever you guys want to call it, the bar with the little waves. And I used to prefer to do curls like that because I would get like an irritation on my wrist. It just felt weird on my elbow. But that was before I got a little bit more educated, a lot more educated on the anatomy and how we improve, and you know, things that in order to address certain dysfunctions that we have in our body, we can't do it passively. All right, we can't do stretching into feel better. Temporary relief, get out the window. I mean, to give you a window to be able to train through it, to make like real structural change for the better, that's what we want. So anyways, my daughter looks at me and she's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And I was like, oh, I'm like contemplating on how I'm gonna address this tomorrow. She's like, okay, what are you gonna do? And I told her, and she's like, oh, okay, whatever. This is my 8-year-old. So now when I'm doing it, I'm putting stuff away in between training sessions. I'm like, oh, I gotta do my barbell curls. And then as soon as I did it right now, before I started recording, I was like, that's exactly what I needed. What I was avoiding is what I needed. Let me show you what it looks like. Here's the reverse grip. All right, I'll face you first. And just a traditional curl, right? We want to just bring this up and then bring it back down. I feel the strain going on exactly where I would want my wrist and my elbow, to kind of like go this way when I'm laying down. Get that length on that bicep, but it also engages that one part that I was talking about that I feel when I'm laying down. Inside story to the way I think about myself, and then how I take it to when I train other people, the way I see people move and what they favor, compensations, things like that, and like actually assessing them joint by joint, taking that whole picture and creating like a plot line or like a phase of things that we're gonna do to approach it. So for myself, I don't think about it too much other than going to bed and that one thing, and then this right hip. But I don't spend a lot of time addressing it as much as I do spending time with my clients programming, and then being a dad and business and everything. So let's get a quick set here. Probably like 12 reps. And then you gotta wrap this thumb. It's key, all right? Naturally, or not naturally, oh, I forgot the number, I think it's 3. It's 4. In the past, it's 5. Whew. And that's 6. And that's 7. That's 8. In the past, I would hide it by going to a false grip. And yes, I'm feeling a lot of stress on the wrist and in the elbow area, bicep, lateral side of my shoulder. Back side of my shoulder. Let's go 2 more reps, hard ones. So here, and back here, and back here. So, yep, what's what you need? You need hard work that's intentional movement. I know it's trying to isolate like certain areas, but the fixed bar, because you're not able to like fold it, right? Or maneuver a dumbbell, that's when your body gets forced into certain positions. And the way I'm addressing it right now feels the best for me. If there's other ways and you see this video, let me know what you think I should do. All right, take care.